make some. I made a completely fat-free mushroom gravy for it, and you can do what you want with vegetables and so forth.
Lentil pancakes, you say? I've heard of lentil loaf,
Yeah.
but that is kind of fancy. Just out of curiosity, if somebody was having a hard time wrapping their head, we're looking for practical advice here. If somebody were having a hard time wrapping their head around the idea of a lentil pancake, just practically speaking, what would you say to that person, Brenda?
Oh, you just have to try them. So here's what I do when I make my lentil pancakes. Use red lentils. That they make a beautiful pancake. So like I say, you soak them maybe overnight or for four or more hours. Blend them with plain water. You can put a little salt if you want. And then I use a really good quality frying pan to make a lentil crepe, and just make sure it's fairly thin on the pan. And I make a wonderful sort of cashew-based white sauce with broccolini and artichoke hearts and mushrooms and all of these kinds of things that will go inside that crepe. And it is just fabulous. And then for dessert, my husband always wants to have the pancake with a little bit of, nut butter and bananas or something like that on top. So you can use those lentil crepes as a breakfast pancake or as a savory dinner, pancake or crepe.
So we're going to be doing a show, well, not a show. We're doing an event together in Rochester, Minnesota in April. I believe April 17th and 18th, the Lotus Health Foundation Symposium there. The Shurzais are also going to be there. And man, I'm not sure that we can fit a cooking demo on the docket, but what you are just describing here is making my mouth absolutely water. I love lentils, especially red lentils. I just can't get enough. And I think that anybody that is not a fan of red lentils really needs to have their head examined. But then again, I'm biased. Do you have a favorite type of lentil, Brenda?
Well, I tend to use small brown lentils a lot. I like the small brown, which are really the red with the skin. So I like those in my breakfast bowls, and I use them pretty regularly for soups and things like that. But that lentil meat I made, which is just soaked, blended, and then cooked in a big pot until it gets firm, and then pressed into a loaf pan, sliced and cooked in the oven. I mean, it sounds a little bit much, but it's actually super easy to do. All it is lentils and a few seasonings. I just use regular green lentils for that. I love red lentils, and I love baby, like the black beluga lentils as well. They're just tiny little lentils. French lentils are great. I'm not prejudiced when it comes to lentils. I love them all.
Oh yeah, well you can't be prejudiced. I mean, lentils they taste like candy canes on Christmas. They're absolutely delicious. Let's take a question from Video 1000 Nights. They are wondering, what do you think about time restricted eating, and what time do you think, or what do you also think about skipping breakfast and then just having lunch and dinner?
I think it depends on the individual. So time restricted eating, I think, is a really good way of reducing caloric intake overall. And so I do it myself, and it's not a purposeful thing. I eat 3 times a day. We eat dinner fairly early. We're done by 5:30 or so, or 6 o'clock at the latest. And then I don't eat after that. And I eat again at maybe 8 o'clock in the morning the next day. And so it's a time, about 14 hours of not eating, which I think is great for most people. Now, if you want to extend that for even further weight loss, my preference would be to eat, a late-ish breakfast, like around 10 or 11, if you're able to do that, and then an early-ish dinner, if you're just doing the 2 meals a day. And rather than skipping breakfast and having usual lunch and dinner. But again, it depends on your body. So I'm a morning person. I'm hungry in the morning. I could care less about eating at night. Once dinner's done, my body shuts down. I don't need any more food. Some people are the exact opposite. They are not hungry in the morning. They're, hungry at night. And so for those individuals, that idea of skipping breakfast and just having the 2 meals could work. But generally, for most people, it's probably better to have a morning meal and then an early dinner.
Let's see if we can get Lori some help here. Now, this is a rather serious question, and obviously, we're not in a position to give specific medical advice for any particular individual, but it does go back to what it was you and I, Brenda, were talking about earlier in the show. She writes that she's Canadian, so cheers to that. 71-year-old long-term diabetic husband is suffering the expected circulatory effects, talking about eyes and amputation, infections. Is there anything that they can do at this point? Any advice?
I'm so sorry, Lori. This is must be very, very difficult time for your family. And yes, the answer is absolutely. There's no question, whatever stage that you're starting at, it really doesn't matter. You're going to provide benefits. You're going to if you start eating more, sort of an ideal diet, you will reduce inflammation. You'll reduce oxidative stress. You'll reduce dysbiosis. You'll reduce lipotoxicity, and things will start to turn around. And your ability to decrease other complications of diabetes and healing from all of the things that are going on are vastly improved when you're eating a truly healthy diet.